Once the falsetto force behind disco's golden era, Barry Gibb now writes in softer keys, crafting melodies in quiet studios far from mirror balls. From Beat G's superstardom to mentoring fresh voices, he's chosen evolution over echoes, honoring the groove that once ruled global charts. Like a vinyl record with endless grooves, Paul McCartney's journey spins on. Less stadium roar, more sonic exploration. The Beatle who penned anthems of love now scores deeper truths, navigating post-Beatles decades with fearless range, indie experiments, and timeless cultural resonance. Copacabana once turned every lounge into a dance floor. Today, Barry Manilow crafts Broadway scores and ballads with the same flair. Beyond the sequins and soft pop serenades, he's embraced legacy work in LGBTQ+ advocacy, reinventing not to stay relevant, but to stay true. Once the flamboyant face of androgynous pop, draped in color and controversy, Boy George now curates his sound with sharp elegance, less neon, more nuance. From Karma Chameleon to queer cultural trailblazer, he shaped music and identity with equal flair, long after the chart stopped shouting. Like a jazz-inflected whisper echoing through cathedral walls, Sting's voice has aged into something richer. From Every Breath You Take to tantric poet and climate activist, he trades stadium roars for symphonic meditations, proof that artistry doesn't fade, it deepens. He once pounded stadium drums in the rain for In the Air Tonight. Today, health slows his hands, but not his creative pulse. As a producer and mentor, Phil Collins remains a quiet architect of modern soundscapes, shaping echoes of the 80s into something deeply personal and enduring. Picture 1987, Rick Astley in a sharp suit, delivering Never Gonna Give You Up with crisp charm. Decades later, he tours indie circuits and TikTok stages, owning his meme-turned-miracle legacy. No longer label-bound, he crafts with autonomy, laughing and singing on his own terms. Once the voice that turned ballads into global touchstones, Lionel Richie now glides through quieter verses, less chart chase, more soul stewardship. From Commodore's funk to solo stardom to judging Idol, he shaped music across generations, bridging analog warmth and digital fame. A former pop rocket who once burned across the tabloids, Robbie Williams now orbits differently, penning introspective tracks, curating art, and exploring mental wellness. From Take That to solo arenas, his path proves reinvention isn't escape, it's a remix of self-worth hearing. You Make Me Feel Like Dancing lit up disco nights worldwide. Now, Leo Sayer crafts soulful ballads from his home studio in Australia, weaving reflections into melody. He sidestepped nostalgia tours for creative control, showing that joy can evolve without losing its spark. Before we continue these amazing celebrity transformations, here's a quick challenge for you. Can you subscribe to Then vs. Now Legends in the next 5 seconds? Smash that subscribe button and join us on this journey through time with your favorite stars. Once the cherubic teen heartthrob with a megawatt smile, Donny Osmond now commands Vegas stages with polished poise. From Puppy Love to Broadway and beyond, he's turned reinvention into ritual, trading teen idol mania for multi-generational showmanship. Like a blazing comet that chose its landing, Elton John ended his touring era not in silence, but in triumph. From Rocket Man to global AIDS advocate, his journey reshaped stardom, sequins traded for substance, leaving behind not just hits, but a legacy in bold, enduring chords. Piano Man once echoed through smoky bars and stadiums alike. Now, Billy Joel plays select nights, savoring each note like a memoir. Refusing to churn out albums in the streaming era, he lets his back catalog breathe, proof that when songs tell the truth, they never expire. Once a teen idol with feathered hair and top 40 charm, Sean Cassidy now scripts thrillers behind the scenes. Swapping pop choruses for primetime twists, he left the spotlight by choice, choosing creativity over fame chasing and writing roles instead of playing them. In tailored suits under Vegas lights, Paul Anka once crooned, Put Your Head on My Shoulder to swooning crowds. Today, he reworks classics with jazz ensembles and mentors young crooners, honoring the songwriting craft that made him a teenage titan and enduring architect of pop. He once raised arenas to their feet with Sweet Caroline. Now, Neil Diamond sings softer refrains, shaped by Parkinson's diagnosis, but not silenced by it. Trading global tours for intimate reflections, he remains a lyrical craftsman, stitching memories into melody with quiet resolve. Like a worn vinyl that still warms the room, Kenny Rogers' voice echoes far past his final curtain. From the gambler to crossover king, he blurred genre lines and spotlighted storytelling. Even in silence, his songs counsel and comfort, timeless cards still in play. Once the synth wizard behind things can only get better, Howard Jones now performs unplugged sets laced with life-earned wisdom. He ditched arena glitz for intimate venues, but his message endures: hope, reinvention, and the courage to remix your own story on your own terms. Like a synth riff echoed through time, Nick Kershaw's music still hums beneath pop's evolution. The man behind Wouldn't It Be Good now writes for others, trades fame for finesse, and experiments on his own terms, proving that true creativity isn't loud, just lasting. Every Time You Go Away once defined tender heartbreak in the 80s. Today, Paul Young balances vintage soul tours with culinary passions and collaborations. Rather than chase old charts, he curates his legacy, flavoring it with depth, resilience, and a voice aged like oak. From the grandeur of Spandau Ballet's True to solo spotlights, Tony Hadley swapped new romantic sheen for stripped-back vocals. Once framed by synths, now framed by strings, he leans into classic standards and live intimacy, still commanding rooms, but with quiet conviction. Billie Jean moonwalked into history, and Michael Jackson never stopped redefining pop. Though controversy shadows his legacy, his artistry remains seismic, genre-blurring, boundary-breaking, globally resonant. The king of pop changed music's DNA and left echoes still pulsing today. Backed by neon lights and fashion-forward chaos, Simon Le Bon once helmed Duran Duran through MTV's golden age. Today, he fronts new tours with weathered charm, still fusing glam with grit. From Hungry Like the Wolf to post-punk resilience, his voice rides the wave, never crashing. Like a sitar's final note lingering in dusk, George Harrison's legacy hums beneath pop culture's surface. From Beatles fame to spiritual seeker, his post-fame path favored depth over spotlight. My Sweet Lord wasn't just a hit, it was a hymn for those listening beyond the noise. Once the beat behind the Beatles' revolution, Ringo Starr now leads all-star ensembles with peace signs and playful rhythm. No longer chasing the charts, he crafts joyful tunes and paints vibrant canvases, still spreading harmony, just with brushes and backbeats alike. Like a bolt of purple lightning, Prince illuminated music skies, then vanished, but not before rewriting the rules. From Purple Rain to indie liberation, he redefined ownership, identity, and artistry. Even in absence, his frequency pulses through every bold creative act. Shattered Dreams echoed through late 80s heartbreak, Clark Datchler's voice wrapped in sleek synths. Today, he champions sustainability and records reflective pieces far from pop's glare. Trading chart toppers for purpose, he proves reinvention isn't escape, it's evolution. Like a novel left open mid-sentence, Paddy McAloon's genius resists easy closure. Prefab sprouts lush cars and girls lives on, while he crafts intricate demos from rural seclusion, his hearing and sight dim but not his imagination. He remains pop's quiet philosopher in exile. Once the silky voice behind 90s bilingual ballads like Just Another Day, John Cicada now teaches, composes, and uplifts behind the curtain. He traded center stage for creative stewardship, bridging cultures in classrooms and studios, proof that stardom can mature into legacy. He once ignited the world with Livin' La Vida Loca, hips whirling and charts blazing. Now, Ricky Martin merges activism with artistry, out, vocal, and fiercely intentional. From pop heartthrob to advocate for LGBTQ+ visibility, he reshaped fame into something far more powerful. A voice like Velvet Thunder, George Michael moved from teen pop stardom to fearless solo artistry. In Life and Beyond, his music, rich with defiance, soul, and vulnerability, continues to challenge norms and heal hearts. Even in silence, his truth sings louder than ever. From windblown ballads atop global stages to stripped acoustic sets online, Enrique Iglesias has shifted pace. Once the face of Latin pop's crossover explosion, he now favors family time, strategic releases, and behind-the-scenes production, still shaping hits, just differently. Once the youthful pulse of Backstreet Boys mania, Nick Carter now juggles solo tours, fatherhood, and mental health advocacy. Navigating fame's aftershocks, he's found a steadier rhythm, still performing, but also reshaping pop legacy through openness, growth, and grit. Once the angelic tenor harmonizing Backstreet anthems, Brian Littrell now moves at a gentler tempo, navigating vocal strain, solo gospel ventures, and personal faith. While the spotlight softened, his voice, both literal and figurative, found new resonance far beyond the boy band stage. Covered in tattoos and charisma, AJ McLean once danced through boy band chaos with edge and swagger. Today, he champions sobriety, mental health, and fatherhood, reshaping his narrative in real time. From larger-than-life to life reclaimed, his evolution is raw and riveting. Cry Me a River marked his break from bubblegum pop, but Justin Timberlake kept evolving, actor, producer, provocateur. Now 50, he navigates fame's second act with more shadows than spotlight, choosing layered roles and sonic risks over chart comfort. Pop's Prince keeps rewriting his playbook. Once an SNC's quiet powerhouse, JC Chases now crafts harmonies off stage, writing, producing, and shaping emerging acts. While his solo spotlight dimmed by choice, his fingerprints linger in pop's DNA, proving that not all legacies need a front row to echo through time. From sold-out arenas to game shows and culinary ventures, Joey Fatone turned charisma into a multidimensional career. The former boy band baritone now hosts, acts, and embraces nostalgia with humor, reminding us that reinvention can be both grounded and gleefully bold. Once the smooth voice behind Color Me Bad's chart heat, Brian Abrams now rewrites his narrative in sober tones. After battling addiction and industry burnout, he sings with raw clarity, proof that the comeback isn't a return, but a reinvention with deeper resonance. Like a clever plot twist in one of his mystery novels, Rupert Holmes' career never followed the obvious path. Escape, the Pina Colada song, made him a radio fixture, but he pivoted to Broadway scores and sharp storytelling, pop's rare craftsman who preferred the pen to the spotlight. He once crooned, "Don't give up on us," while patrolling TV screens as Hutch. In later years, David's soul traded stardom for privacy, acting in London theaters and directing with quiet intent. His legacy lingers, part ballad, part badge, always more soulful than the fame suggested. Come On Get Happy made him a teen idol, but David Cassidy bore fame's weight early. Beyond the Partridge Family's glitter, he battled demons while chasing musical respect. Though his final chapters were stormy, his songs remain etched in pop memory, vulnerable, bright, and human. Take Me Home, Country Roads became an anthem for dreamers and drifters alike. Though John Denver's life ended too soon, his legacy soars on, through conservation work, heartfelt songwriting, and the enduring truth that simple melodies can move mountains and mend hearts. From New Jack Swing's swaggering king to a voice tempered by loss and resilience, Bobby Brown walks a harder-won path now. Once driving crowds wild with My Prerogative, he now advocates for mental health and sobriety, still moving, but to a rhythm that heals, not headlines. Like a comet, Terence Trent D'Arby blazed through late 80s soul pop before transforming completely. Now as Sananda Mithriya, he writes genre-bending epics far from the mainstream, choosing freedom over fame and proving reinvention can be radical, sacred, and self-defined. Spotlights once traced every glide of Usher's choreography during Yeah. Now his Vegas residency blends R&B roots with polished showmanship and quiet mentorship. He's no longer chasing charts, he's curating moments, proving that mastery isn't loud. Sometimes it just moves smoother. Like a falsetto echo in a cathedral of silence, Darren Hayes stepped back from pop stardom to reclaim his voice on his terms. From Savage Garden's Truly Madly Deeply to solo introspection and queer advocacy, he traded mass appeal for authenticity and found deeper harmony. Once part of Five's explosive pop energy, Richie Neville now lives far from arena screams, balancing fatherhood and culinary ventures. While the boy band gloss faded, he chose a grounded beat. Less fame, more flavor. His rhythm shifted, but the creativity still simmers. From Five Ives' chart-topping chaos to a quieter life among animals and agriculture, Ab's love traded pop stardom for pasture. Once surrounded by screaming fans, he now cultivates land and indie sounds, proving that healing sometimes means stepping out of spotlight, not fading from it. Once fronting 98 Degrees in open shirts and tight harmonies, Nick Lachey now juggles hosting duties and business ventures. With a Netflix mic in one hand and family in the other, he's rewritten the boy band blueprint. Less about stardom, more about staying power and strategy. Shadow dancing lit up dance floors before Andy Gibbs' star dimmed far too soon. In just a few years, he carved out a tender, tremulous space in pop history. Though struggles ended his journey early, his brief brilliance continues to echo through ballads and broken hearts. From 98 Degrees' silky harmonies to behind-the-scenes entrepreneurship, Jeff Timmons pivoted from pop heartthrob to producer and brand builder. He skipped nostalgia circuits for tech and creative ventures, proving reinvention isn't a comeback, it's a redefinition on his own terms. Bohemian Rhapsody didn't just top charts, it shattered conventions. Freddie Mercury's voice, theatrical flair, and unapologetic identity reshaped rock's DNA. Gone too soon, but never diminished, his legacy burns loud, operatic, fearless, and forever echoing through stadium anthems. Like a folk tune tracing decades of dialogue, Paul Simon's career maps quiet revolutions. From Bridge Over Troubled Water to rhythmic explorations in Graceland, he's woven cultural threads into melody. Now 83, he creates sparingly, but each note lands with seasoned clarity. Jesse's Girl turned him into a leather-jacketed heartthrob. Now 75, Rick Springfield pens novels and performs stripped-down sets, trading stadium echo for soulful intimacy. Once chart-topping and chasing love, he now crafts meaning. One lyric, one page, one quiet spotlight at a time. He made funk pop irresistible with C'est La Vie, a shrug set to rhythm. These days, Robbie Neville composes behind the scenes, shaping soundtracks for Disney and TV. From frontman flair to creative architect, he swapped neon stages for studio control, still crafting joy, just more discreetly. Once sailing the charts with Caribbean Queen, Billy Ocean now tours selectively, delivering smooth vocals with spiritual depth. At 75, he blends stage presence with quiet reflection. His journey from chart dynamo to soulful elder statesman, a testament to rhythm, reinvention, and enduring groove. Once flexing abs on stage as Marky Mark, now commanding Hollywood sets with seasoned ease, Mark Wahlberg traded mic drops for dramatic depth. Good Vibrations thumped through the 90s. Today, he crafts stories behind and before the lens, reshaping fame on his own terms. Like a heartfelt chorus that lingers long after its final note, Tommy Page left behind more than his 1990 hit, I'll Be Your Everything. A teen idol turned music executive, he shaped new voices from behind the scenes, proving that resonance isn't always found in the spotlight. He once strummed Wild World beneath stadium lights. Now Yusuf/Cat Stevens pins meditative ballads far from the commercial fray. A seeker beyond stardom, he traded pop fame for spiritual reflection, later returning on his own terms, his melodies softer, but no less stirring. Back when it's not unusual electrified dance floors, he was velvet-voiced and wild-eyed. Now 84, Tom Jones still commands the mic with thunderous soul, reinventing classics, embracing stripped-back ballads. Fame didn't fade. It evolved, deepening into a raw, roaring echo of lived-in truth. He didn't just write hits, he scored the emotional undercurrent of an era. Burt Bacharach, who passed in 2023, gave pop its elegance. His lush arrangements and odd-time signatures still ripple through modern music, a legacy less about nostalgia than enduring artistic audacity. Time in a Bottle captured longing in its purest form. Though Jim Croce's life was cut short in 1973, his songs endure, acoustic vignettes of working-class dreams and fragile hope. He left not just melodies, but a blueprint for honest songwriting that still whispers through the decades. She Ain't Worth It once climbed radio charts with teenage charm. Now Glenn Medeiros leads with intellect as an educator and school president. From pop stages to academic halls, he's reframed success not by spotlight, but by service, proving rhythm can echo in quiet ways. Like a voice that dances between rhythms, Mark Anthony flows between salsa and ballad with undiminished fire. From Vivir Mi Vida to sold-out tours, he bridges eras and languages, shaping Latin pop's global rise while mentoring a new wave with every powerful aching note. Picture Seal in the 90s, eyes closed, pouring soul into Kiss from a Rose. Today, he crafts stripped-down sets and mentors rising talent. His voice, weathered yet luminous, carries lived experience. No longer chasing charts, he explores music's raw edges with quiet conviction. Ziggy Stardust crash-landed into pop history, but Bowie's genius was never static. Until his passing in 2016, he morphed. Alien, crooner, elder experimentalist. His final album, Black Star, whispered mortality in code, sealing a legacy built not on hits alone, but fearless transformation. From Calendar Girl to classical suites, Neil Sedaka's career spans doo-wop dawns to concert halls. Now 86, he performs selectively, his voice seasoned but playful. Once a teen idol, now a musical craftsman, he's proof that pop longevity isn't about clinging, but adapting with grace and wit. Feathered hair, raspy fire, Rod Stewart once lit arenas with Do You Think I'm Sexy? Today, at 80, he blends standards with swagger, recording jazz and swing with self-assured charm. Less flash, more finesse, he's traded rebellion for refinement without ever dimming the spotlight's pull. Once roaring through arenas with Summer of '69, now Bryan Adams channels that same grit into stripped acoustic tours and lens work behind the camera. A rocker turned humanitarian and photographer, he reframes nostalgia with purpose. His chords aged, but never faded. Like a vintage record that still spins true, Gilbert O'Sullivan's melodies endure beyond their radio heyday. Alone Again, naturally, broke hearts in the '70s. Today, he writes with quiet precision, resisting trends while weaving subtle wit into songs shaped by reflection. Blue Velvet once wrapped a generation in dreamy romance. Now Bobby Vinton lives far from the limelight. His legacy echoed in crooners who followed. A pop balladeer who crossed genres with elegance, he helped define an era when smooth vocals carried cinematic weight. Once he asked us to tie a yellow ribbon, now Tony Orlando at 81 uplifts audiences with nostalgia tours and advocacy. From bubblegum pop to Branson stages, his career arcs across eras. Less about chasing charts now, more about connection, memory, and giving golden hits new breath. He grew up on black and white TV, then soared with Travelin' Man. Ricky Nelson's sleek rockabilly eased pop into its rebellious teens. Though he passed in 1985, his influence lingers in every crooner with edge, a bridge between Elvis swagger and West Coast cool that never faded. Year the Cat rapped history and melody, and Al Stewart still unspools such tales at 79. Mixing folk with literary depth, he sidestepped trends to craft time-traveling ballads. Today, he tours intimate venues. No flash, just finely tuned narratives that drift between centuries. Like a storyteller whose verses linger long after the curtain falls, Mac Davis blended country charm with pop sensibility. Known for Baby Don't Get Hooked on Me, he also penned hits for Presley. Later, he shifted to acting, his wit and warmth echoing far beyond the charts. He once launched movie soundtracks into orbit with Footloose and Danger Zone. Today, Kenny Loggins plays intimate shows and writes children's books. His creative flight path is unexpected as it is enduring. From synth-laced anthems to soulful reflection, he keeps evolving. From tribal makeup and post-punk rebellion to quiet resilience, Adamant defied the pop machine. Goody Two-Shoes made him a new wave face, but he later stepped back, navigating mental health battles and reinvention. Still performing, still fierce, on his own vivid terms. From face-painted theatrics in Genesis to sledgehammer surrealism, Peter Gabriel redefined art rock. At 75, he crafts immersive tours and global activism, fusing tech with soul. He didn't fade, he expanded, proving that true innovation isn't loud or fast, but patient, layered, and brave. He stripped in a Levi's ad, then soared with Each Time You Break My Heart, co-written by Madonna. Nick Kamen, who passed in 2021, fused model cool with synth-pop yearning. Though he stepped out of fame's spotlight early, his stylish melancholy remains a snapshot of 80s elegance. He was 15 when Gimme Some Lovin' made him a prodigy. Now 77, Steve Winwood blends blues and psychedelia with quiet mastery. From Traffic to Solo Heights, his voice, earthy and ethereal, still anchors live sets. Fame didn't age him. It ripened his sound into something timelessly rooted. Take On Me launched Morton Harkett into synth-pop legend, his soaring falsetto etched into MTV history. Decades later, he tours with a-ha on his own terms, blending activism with artistry. While the sound has mellowed, his voice remains a prism of clarity and quiet power. Like jazz itself, fluid, adaptive, timeless, George Benson flows between guitar licks and smooth vocals. From Give Me the Night to Grammy stages, he bridged soul and sophistication. Now he mentors young musicians, his legacy not just heard, but deeply felt and passed on. From Secret Agent Man to soulful covers at Whiskey A Go-Go, Johnny Rivers gave rock a gritty, lounge-kissed pulse. Now 82, he performs sparingly. His guitar work still sharp, his voice weathered but warm. He didn't chase reinvention, he distilled it, letting groove age like well-worn denim. Danky Shone echoed through Vegas lounges, and decades later, Wayne Newton remains its velvet heartbeat. At 82, he still headlines, embracing showmanship with unshakable charm. More than a performer, he's a living archive of glitz, grit, and the unspoken rhythm of the Strip's golden years. Then Versus Now Legends is feeling a bit lonely. 99% of you haven't subscribed yet. Show us some love and hit that subscribe button so we can keep bringing you the jaw-dropping journeys of your favorite stars. And if you're as fascinated by then and now glow-ups as we are, check out our previous videos. Trust us, they're totally worth your time and ours too.